This episode, we're coming to you live from Crown Princess, which is our ship of the week. We're going to tell you what we've found on her and what she's like to cruise on. There's some great deals that are available right now. Paul's going to check those, and we will hear the latest cruise news. So, let's start the show.
It's time to get your cruise on.
This is Cruise and Travel with Paul McAllister.
Hello, I'm Steve, and with me is Paul McAllister, the Chief Dream Cruise creator behind 101cruise.com.au. No Roof this week. He's our dog.
No.
Because for some reason they don't allow dogs on ships.
It's just not right. This is a podcast that takes you into the world of cruising and lets you in on the big cruising deals each week.
That's right. You can find out more on our website, 101cruise.com.au, by signing up to the newsletter. So, to kick off the episode this week, right here on board Crown Princess, have you got a couple of deals for us?
Yeah, I feel really bad because I'm going to talk about another cruise line.
Shh, you'll have to do it quiet.
I'm going to do it really loud so they can hear. It's a great deal. Celebrity Eclipse, departing 16th of July 2025. It's 11 nights cruise from Amsterdam to Amsterdam. I don't think we've done Northern Europe before, so I think this is really exciting. So it's, as I said, departing from Amsterdam. It's going to go through Iceland to Reykjavik, Cobb or Corn in Ireland, Dunmore East in Ireland, and ends up back at Amsterdam again. Now, look, an inside room, brochure price would normally set you back $8,330 per person, but at 101 Cruise today you'll get it for $1,757 per person, and that's a saving of over $7,073.
That's good.
I think there's a person behind me saying, "How do I get that deal?"
How do I get off this ship and onto that one? Oops, I didn't say that.
Oops. Look, an ocean view room, the brochure price is normally US $10,738 per person. But at 101 Cruise, we've got it out for $1,894 per person. Now, that's a whopping $7,000 saving on that one again. And a balcony room, which we all love. A balcony room would normally cost you $10,746 per person. But at 101 Cruise, it is $1,919 per person US dollars. Now, that's a saving of 82%. It's over $8,000.
Yeah, nearly really, $9,000 saving. So, quick recap again.
So, departing on 16th of July, it's on Celebrity Eclipse. It's 11 nights. Amsterdam to Amsterdam. So really cool place to sort of cruise. Gee, that barista's getting a bit noisy in the background.
Yes, please. I'll have fun.
I know. Where's my hot chocolate? Anyway, look, really, really great deals to be had there on that one. So, and we've got some more really good, exciting cruises coming up later in the show.
Now the latest cruise and travel news.
Don't forget, those deals are current right now as of April 27, 2025, and all prices are in US dollars and are per person. Check out the website for more info, 101cruise.com.au. Now, speaking of Princess Cruises, which, as I said before, we are on board Crown Princess as we record this podcast. 3 Princess cruise ships are set to undergo dry docks this month: the Emerald Princess, the Grand Princess, and the Regal Princess. But they're all just undergoing regular maintenance. I think I know another one that could do with some faffing. The Brilliant Lady is going to join Virgin Voyages fleet later this year, with 4 ships exploring all 4 corners of the United States in her debut season. The ship first starts in New York before moving to Miami and then the west coast of the US, and then Seattle for Virgin's debut into Alaska in 2026. And the good news is they're now offering a 10-night product. Virgin Voyages have traditionally done quite short cruises, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
And so they're going to do a 10-night product, driving further into the Caribbean and hitting some different destinations that they don't always visit. And we heard something the other day on this ship about Virgin Voyages too, how they ditched Australia because they came to Australia last year.
They did. So not the current season, which is just coming to the end the year before. But they didn't do so well. They just didn't get the response that they wanted, which is a real shame. I wish they would come back into Australia and give it another go, because I think the brand has started to come out there a lot stronger, and I think there's a really strong market for in Australia. And just knowing that our market is selling so quickly every year, it would be great to have another competitor come into the market and add some availability in there. And Virgin is great. It's a really good cruise line too. So it offers a different product. I think Australia just wasn't ready at the time when they came out.
Yeah, their main point of difference is there's no kids. It's adults only. That doesn't mean it in a seedy way at all.
No, it just means it's 18 plus.
Yeah, but they're very classy ships. Richard Branson has put together some very nice
It's typical,
adult contemporary ships.
Typical of a Virgin sort of product. The rooms are very clean lined, so it's not. It's
There's
modernism.
no clutter.
No, there isn't, and everything's got a purpose. And
there's a hammock on your balcony.
The hammock's an interesting one. I just don't know. I'd love to give it a go.
It'd be swaying a bit if it was doing this trip with us right now.
Oh my goodness gracious! It's a bit of high seas out there, as you can hear all the glasses clanking away in the background.
Okay, back to the news. Royal Caribbean International, which is the single largest brand in the cruise industry based on annual passenger capacity, is going to maintain its position based on the forward order book of ships, with 7.7 million passengers sailing with them by 2033 at double occupancy rate, compared to 6.9 million for Carnival Cruise Line, which is the second largest brand. Oceania Cruises has announced 4 additional sailings for the 2026 solar eclipse, offering a total of 5 unique itineraries, more than any other cruise line. Now, these special voyages allow guests to witness the eclipse on August the 12th next year from prime locations off the coasts of Ireland, Iceland, Portugal, and the United Kingdom. Oceania Marina will be positioned for 100% totality, which means you get the full 100% eclipse. At the same time, Oceania Insignia, Oceania Serena, and 2 voyages on Oceania Vista will experience over 90% totality, ensuring an unforgettable event for travellers and astronomy lovers. So if you love your stars and your eclipses, Oceania is the cruise line to be on August the 12th next year in Ireland, Iceland, Portugal, or the United Kingdom.
That'd be a pretty cool cruise, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I'd do the one out of Portugal.
Yeah, me too.
All right, that's the latest in the news. And now let's get into... Excuse me. It's our ship of the week, which is this one, the Crown Princess, which we're on today for a couple of days. We boarded in Brisbane, and I actually have to say the
boarding
terminal
was excellent.
The Brisbane terminal, it's so far. Well, it felt so far from the city. You thought your Uber driver was going to have rope in the back seat to.
It felt like we're in the countryside. Look, it's right behind Brisbane Airport, which I knew of, and I knew where it was located. But wow, it did seem to take a long time in the Uber to get out there.
It sure did.
Yeah, and it wasn't the most attractive entrance or exit from Brisbane, I felt, for tourists coming in. But,
no, it'd be a bit like coming into Fremantle.
Oh, no, I think Fremantle's actually better in ways because like it's got a hub and a feel to it. But yeah, it was just a little bit remote and a bit rural in a way.
But the terminal itself, once you got
beautiful.
inside, one thing I have to say about every terminal I think we've ever been in is the greeters there are fantastic.
They do a great job.
They're happy for you. They're excited that you're going on holidays. They steer you in the right directions. And
I've got to say, Brisbane had so many of these people just standing there saying, hello, welcome, you just got to keep going this way. And it was a bit of a walk. And the check-in whole system was very seamless, I've got to say. They had it right down. Like, we didn't have to queue up. They had their iPads. They quickly clicked you through and then you were gone. And as soon as we got out of the Uber, they basically took the bags off us, which was really spectacular.
And they appear magically at your room door later.
Yeah, they do. And look, but it was a bit of a walk down to the ship. So, and it was an endless row. They needed to have a little coffee shop, which they did, funny enough, towards the end of the walkway just before you got on the ship.
Yeah. So, Crown Princess, let's look at the stats for
Sure.
it. It holds around about 3,000 guests. There's 1,500, just over 1,500 staterooms, which includes 30 suites with private balconies, 178 mini suites, 675 balcony staterooms, 222 ocean view rooms.
That's what we're saying in.
That's what we had.
Yep.
And 440 inside rooms. There's also 29 staterooms with wheelchair access, that's quite good. That's not too bad for a ship as well. So 3,000 guests, 1,200 crew. It first sailed June the 14th, 2006.
And it felt like that a little bit.
And it's 290 metres long and 19 decks high.
She's a big ship. And look, it is an interesting one for us to go on because we haven't done Princess before. So this is our first experience. The demographics on board are a little bit more older, mature age, but there's nothing wrong with that either. But
Well, let's talk a little bit about this cruise. We did it for 2 days, basically. It was Brisbane to Sydney. As Paul said, we really just did it to try it out, to see what Princess are like. And it was the end of a 29-day voyage around Australia. I think we referred to it a couple of episodes ago when it was actually in Fremantle.
yeah.
And so most of the people had been on board for, roughly a month.
And you could see that there was a lot of friendships that had been made on that ship too, and they were having a great time with each other. I think from our point, we most viewed it like the intruders of the Big Brother house because we came in at the last minute to sort of shake it up.
Quite frankly, I don't think too many of the people on board have heard of Big Brother.
Oh, no, true.
But anyway...
So when we walked on, as you do, you go into the main grand area, and it was actually beautifully decorated, quite ornate with their entry piece, and it's over 4 levels. And it was quite nice. It's got the elevators that are open, so you actually, as you go up, you have the glass elevator.
Yep, you
but
can
then it disappears into nowhere. So
see out of them into the grand foyer area and that.
And they were very welcoming. They had a band playing, and it was great. And then we went to our room, which was great because it was ready for us. That was an easy one. And we decided, because it was only a 2-day cruise, I thought it was good for us to try something that we haven't done ever in our lives, an ocean view room, and even more. I hope you're sitting down, Steve. It was going to be obstructed.
Yeah, and it was. But we knew that before we got on board. That's how we booked it, and that's what we got.
And as a travel advisor, I go through every website, even for all my clients, and I have a look at the rooms to see if they have an obstruction, what the obstruction's like, and how much it is. And this was the one room I picked out that had, to me, the minimal obstruction. So it was between 2 life rafts. And we actually had quite a nice clear view. It had a ladder in front of us.
It was, and there was plenty of daylight that got into the room still. It didn't bother us that there was no balcony as such, because you don't end up spending a lot of time in your room anyway.
No, and look, the room was well appointed. The only thing I would say that they need to do in their rooms is add another outlet, a power outlet, or some USB charging ports on both sides of the beds. And look, we're seeing this quite commonly. Like, Azamara was the same as well. They didn't have outlets on both sides. Both of us like to charge our phones at night and have it handy so we can see the time when we wake up. So that was another little thing that they could improve on.
I'm actually finding that quite annoying with cruise ships because it feels like they're all doing it.
I think it comes down to as well that, the rooms are designed with 2 single beds in it. And when you have the beds together, they just zip them up and put a mattress cover over the top so you don't feel that join. I think that's the problem, so that when they don't put the power points on both sides because the beds do move around a little bit and they can't always be accessible on one side. So
but they usually have a lamp or something on the bedside table, and that's got to be plugged in somewhere. So that obviously can move around. I just find
it's the newest ships that do that. So the newest ships will have the lampshade, and then they will have an USB port in there that you can use. But again, the ones that they have done sometimes will only have the USBs, not the USB-Cs. So, again, you've got that problem. So it's a really hard one. Just if Apple would stop changing what they're going to charge their devices, which
I think they have now. They've been told they're not allowed to keep changing it anymore. But it is annoying, and ships really need to upgrade when they go into dry dock for maintenance issues, and that they really do need to start refurbing these rooms to at least do that. I know it's a first world problem, but I actually find it quite annoying because it's something that occurs every single day when you go to bed and you want to charge your phone overnight and all that.
Well, we're going to talk of things about that annoy you.
Shower curtains.
Oh, look, okay. Well, yes, it had a shower curtain, but it was pretty good. It didn't leak out into the bathroom, so it's all right. The bathroom was a little bit older. It could do with a little bit of love, but...
I just feel like I'm back in 1980 whenever I have a shower curtain around me.
I know. Kate, you didn't like that as a child and you still don't.
No, well, as a child in 1980, it was fine because that's what you had. But like now, it's 2025, which I've got to stop thinking of the 80s as 20 years ago because it's a lot more than that. It's about 100 years ago now.
Let's move on from your childhood.
Okay, what else?
Look, the bed was great, really, really comfortable, really big TV. I've got to say, I loved that. It was a huge TV and great selection of programming on board that you could watch. Oh, thank God they got a bit quiet out the back. They're obviously having a break. And some great movies on there, all free, and good TV programming for a short cruise. So well done on that. The other thing, I suppose, I was disappointed. I'm a bit of a pillow princess, and don't laugh, Steve.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I carry one with me most of the times. On this one, I didn't. But so I did request, a firm pillow, and was told eventually that it's only for elite members, which I am one, but they overlooked that, and for suites only. But so look, I think if someone's got a neck problem and they need it, or for a back injury, a pillow is a good thing, and I think all cruise lines should do it. That was my only other thing.
He's an elite member, folks. That means you've sailed for 2 days on Princess.
I know it comes with role of being a travel advisor. Thank you very much for reminding me.
But look, let's talk about the different restaurants and where we are now.
Sure.
Doing
So
this
at
podcast
the moment, we're at the International Cafe, as you can tell, which is on deck 5. And it's really nice. You come down here in the mornings, grab your coffees. They'll have pastries during the day. The menu changes around to sandwiches and, appropriate sort of food for that time. But it's a nice area. It's in the foyer, so, you're looking at everything around, and there's always a nice hub of people around if you want to have a chat. And then when we go to the specialty restaurants, they only have 2 on the Crown, which is okay because I think sometimes you can have too many. The Crown Grill, which is their steakhouse, which was very nice.
Which I don't think we're going to get a chance to go to.
No, but I had a look at the decor. It's sort of in the mid of the ship, which is unusual because normally they put them at the front or the back so that you get the views out. This had limited views. It was more looking into the promenade, which was good. And then there's Sabatini's, which is their Italian restaurant. Again, we didn't go to, but maybe we will on the last night because we've still got another night. And it looks beautiful. It looks at the after the ship. Very Italian looking, but beautiful views out over the ocean. So it looked pretty cool. And the bar next to it looked really nice. The main dining rooms have got 3. So Michelangelo, Da Vinci. There is a third restaurant as well. And so they're nice size restaurants. They're not too big like a big main dining hall again. And the menu changes every day. They've got their princess specials that they have. They have their princess traditionals, which, are always on the menu because everyone loves them so much. How did you find the food, Steve? Because you're a little bit more particular than I am.
Look, to be honest, so far, and I don't hold out much room for improvement tonight, I've found the food to be average. It just feels like there's no pride in the presentation of it.
Let's hope it gets better tomorrow night. I agree. I think it's what you had that led it down. That prime rib, you were expecting a bone on it, and it was just like a prime rib.
It was a slab of meat. It was like the Flintstones roast.
It was massive.
It was a giant, like a slice of meat that you'd have in a roast, but it was thick and gigantic, and it just wasn't.
And it was a bit undercooked
maybe
as well.
that's the American way that they
serve
have
it.
that. But look, but it wasn't terribly tasteful.
It wasn't. I agree. It wasn't great. I did have a prawn curry, and I liked it. I love my Asian styled foods, and it was tasty. It wasn't huge. Prawns were perfect, but I agree with you. Like the entree that came out was missing some presentation skills.
I
on
think
there.
all
It
of it
just
was like even
slapped.
breakfast. Every meal has just been a bit okay.
breakfast.
It's not bad, but just okay.
A lot of times when we go on cruises, when you go, especially in the main dining rooms, you do get some amazing experiences with the food like that. They really present it well, and the flavours are really good there. I've got to say, the scrambled eggs mostly were the plainest, hardest scrambled eggs I've ever had. In actual fact, I asked for them to be soft cooked, so they were a little bit more on the runny side. Now, I know cruise ships don't like doing that because they have a lot of issues with allergens and having the eggs cooked enough. However, it was blue, some parts of it, so they'd really overcooked it. I think it was straight out of the bottom of the bain-marie. No, I don't want to run down Princess for their food because we've still got another night to go. I think they've got time to resurrect it.
I'm happy to call it.
Yeah, but I don't. I think, but you know what? Princess has such a strong following.
It does.
A lot of people would love it. I've got to say, the good thing about some of the other restaurants that we went to, so there was a pizza bar up on pool deck, deck 15, and their pizzas were beautiful. Very thin, and we just had pepperoni and a margarita, and they were really, really good. Just the only thing there where you had to queue a little while for it. So
That's
and
okay.
everyone loves
Yeah,
the pizza.
pizzas weren't too bad, but
No.
the main meals, breakfast and dinner, a bit av.
Yeah, we visited the buffet, a little bit dated. Now, I know the ship's mostly going to get renovated soon, and I'm sure that's going to be something that they're going to look at to change. However, can I talk about something I do love about Princess? They have a thing called Ocean Anywhere. And so if you want to have a coffee or anything, you do it on your app, and they will find you anywhere on the cruise ship and bring the food to you. So you can order anything off the like room service menu on your app, and then they will find you. You do not have to say where you are. They know by your medallion that where you are on the ship.
Yeah,
I think
this
that's
was
really cool.
Quite modern technology, actually. I felt like the most modern that we've seen on a ship, where they give you not a key card, like a credit card to open your room and that with your photo on when you when you board. They give you a medallion, and that's programmed with your information on it, but it's also, I don't know, it must have Bluetooth or something in it, because they can via this being around your neck, they can tell wherever you are in the ship at any time, and your partner or whoever you're with can also track you down, wherever you are.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
In
So
the
I
ship
could
at any
look for you
time.
at any time and say, oh, he's at the
He's at the
cafe.
pizza bar.
Sneaking another piece of pizza. It's also really good because when you walk up to any of the staff or at the restaurants and they've got an iPad or they've got a computer there, it automatically reads who you are. So they can actually say to you, hi, Paul, or Mr. McAllister, welcome back. We've got your reservation ready for you, which is fantastic. Really slick. It didn't always happen, but it was really good. It also gives them the opportunity to identify your loyalty as well, because they are colour-coded. So it makes it easy for the staff to find out who you are.
All right. So is that it?
Well, that's for food. I'd like to talk about some of the other things I liked on board as well, because we've said, a few things that aren't that warming, but there was a lot of bars on board. There was a lot of areas that you go to. I think it may be too many bars, and they were very big. But that's a great thing. So you've got lots of opportunity to go. Well, we could go and play cards in one of them. We did love the Skywalker's nightclub during the day. We didn't go at night, but during the day, and it's elevated. It's above deck 15. Actually, it's on deck 19, and it's sort of like this elevated platform at the back of the ship, and it's just the nightclub, so it keeps it away from everyone else if it's going to be noisy, so no one gets disturbed at night. But during the day, it was really cool. We just went up there and played cards, and you just looked out over the ocean. It was really beautiful. The other thing, most cruise ships have it, but not all. The laundry. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but you do need to have a laundry, and you need to have somewhere where you can go and iron your shirts. And some cruise ships just don't do that. So it was really cool. I love that. I thought there was one on each deck. Go down there. There was never anyone in there could iron our shirts to go out for dinner. Well done, Princess. I thought that was cool. And the pool terrace, aft deck. That's at the back of the ship again, from about deck 14, I think it was. You sort of walked out from the buffet restaurant and there was one pool there and a couple of hot tubs. And it was just a nice way to see the cruise because it was sort of like cut out and it was a little bit more private and a little bit more protected down there. I think that was a really lovely area.
The room was a bit noisy last night. I know there's like creaking noises. And
I think that's just because it's an older ship. And you know what?
But
the
still,
swell was really quite high.
It's been a pretty rough trip. I'm glad it's just 2 days, but the east coast of Australia at the moment is shocking. Lots of
It'll be
of
interesting
bad
we go on
swells.
Celebrity Edge next because in a couple of days' time we jump on them. It'll be interesting to see how they are. But it did creak around a fair bit, but I think that comes down to the age of the ship as well.
But it's a bit off-putting hearing your room creak, when you're trying to go to sleep.
Yeah, true.
Anything else?
No, I think that covers it off. Look,
All right.
if I gave Princess, would I do Princess again? Yes, I don't think you will. I think their newer ships would be a different experience. And as I said, people love Princess and we sell a lot of it.
Yeah, like Sun Princess is a brand new ship that just launched earlier this year or late last year, and I'm sure that would be absolutely gorgeous, a lot bigger than this one. But this ship was built in 2006 or delivered in 2006, so it's getting up there in age now. All right, so we've got a couple more deals to finish off today.
We certainly do. So I've picked out one that a lot of people won't know this cruise line. It's called Atlas Ocean Voyages. Now, they're a really cool boutique luxury. I'd actually put them in the ultra luxury range of cruise ships. And why they are so different is it's only 200 people on board and you've got 200 crew. So you've got one crew member per guest on board. So it's a really good high ratio. I think it's a very personalised service ship. And the great thing about it, because it's a smaller ship, it can get into different ports. So smaller ports where the bigger ships can't get into. So you're going to see a different sort of angle of that country and that where you're cruising into. And it's an all-inclusive of fine wines, spirits. The gourmet food is 5 stars. You're really starting to get that private yacht experience, a real 6-star experience on board. So this deal is for the 28th of July, so plenty of time to sort of look at this if you're wanting to do it. It's a 12-night cruise from Barcelona, one of my favourite places in the world, to Athens, where, again, can't beat Athens as the capital of Spain. So you're going to go visit Roses. I've never heard of this. It's Costa Brava in Spain, Sète in France, Saint-Tropez, beautiful, love Saint-Tropez. And then you go on to Florence, which is obviously, Pisa, Rome, Sorrento, another gorgeous part of Italy, Chania in Greece, Hydra in Greece, and then up in Athens. A really beautiful cruise. Now, your balcony would normally set you back $13,699 US. However, at 101 Cruise, we have it on for $6,679 US per person. Now, that's a saving over $7,000. I know it's 51%, which we don't normally, talk about this as much.
Half price, that's pretty good.
Still half price. We put out some really high ones, but this is, you've got to remember, fully inclusive. So it's a really high luxury experience that you're going to have. So love that one. I would love to do it if I could again get the time off. And our third deal for the day is Virgin. We talked about them earlier, and that's just funny because we didn't actually talk about that. So it's on Resilient Lady, and departing on 29th of June 2025. It's 11 nights, Athens to Athens. Again, another great, it's our Greek Mediterranean season, so it's peak season at this point. We're going from Athens to Istanbul. Love Istanbul, so much to do there. And then on to Mykonos, Rhodes, Santorini, lovely. Hopefully the earthquakes have stopped. And Chania again, and then back on to Athens. Look, an ocean view room would normally set you back on Virgin $10,036. But at 101 Cruise, we've got it on for $1,970. And look, that's a whopping 80% off.
That's excellent.
Yeah, $179 per day. If you're looking for a balcony, normally we'll set you back $10,948 per person. We've got it on for at 101 Cruise at $2,135 US per person. Again, another 80% off. Now, if you really want to go crazy, we've got the Rockstar Suite. So you're looking at a suite, it's a much bigger room, has lots of bells and whistles. You don't know what they have on there as well in their suite, and it's so virgin. It's got a record player.
Oh, beautiful. I can take all my LPs along.
Oh, yeah, that'll kill your carry-on weight. But anyway, they have some albums in there for you as well. So normally $24,620. It's a suite per person. But at 101 Cruise, we've got it for $5,584. That's a whopping $19,000 saving. I'd love it. I think it's a really cool thing to do.
Very expensive record player, though.
It is, but look, it's a suite. You're going to have a really fun experience, and then there's extra bonuses involved with that as well.
These deals are current right now as of April 27, 2025, but subject to availability. All prices are in US dollars and are per person. Remember, you can get access to all the deals by signing up to our newsletter at 101cruise.com.au. Once you've signed up and you've got access inside the website, there are heaps of articles in the 101 Cruise magazine that will keep you busy learning all about cruising and give you lots of tips. And by the way, don't think about travelling anywhere these days without travel insurance. Regardless of whether it's a cruise you book through us or any other travel you're planning, you can always buy travel insurance through our website. We get the best deals through NIB Travel Insurance, but you've got to follow the links from our website to get the 101 Cruise deals. I can tell you from experience, you will find it hard to beat the rates we can get for you. Compare us with any other travel insurance provider and you'll see for yourself. Plus, if you're an NIB Health member, you can get a further 10% discount.
And on next week's episode, we're going to be talking about everything Celebrity Edge. Yes, that's right. We're going to jump onto them next after Princess and cruise on them for 4 days. So we'll do another live, well, not live, but we'll record a broadcast from there. Looking forward to it.
For more, go to 101cruise.com.au and sign up for the newsletter and to get access to the site. You can also follow us on Facebook at 101 Cruise and on Instagram at 101 Cruises.